Health experts here have been advocating for a clinical trial that could potentially save the lives of more pancreatic cancer patients. Now, nearly $300,000 in funding has come through via a grant from the Australian Pancreatic Cancer Foundation. Well, let's find out more about what this might mean for the study and cancer patients with Dr. Daniel Croagh, who is the lead study chair of the clinical trial in Australia. Dr. Croagh, thanks for joining us. Firstly, what is the prevalence of pancreatic cancer in our country, and how are different patients affected differently?
Pancreatic cancer affects approximately 4,000 patients per year in Australia, and it's actually the third and going to become the second most common cause of cancer-related death.
So how
people are affected?
Yes, how are patients affected?
Yeah, well, people are affected, in different ways depending on where it occurs in the pancreas gland. Some patients become jaundiced, some patients develop severe back pain or weight loss, and some patients have new onset diabetes.
So what is the objective of this clinical trial, and who can take part in it?
So this clinical trial is using information obtained from patients who have had sequencing of their pancreatic cancer to understand the genetic profile of the tumour, and then targeting a small portion of those patients with a very abnormal molecular profile, suggesting that they'll respond well to immunotherapy, and that's the target population for this trial.
So what success have you seen in similar treatments, and what results are you hoping to see with this one?
Well, in many other cancers with a similarly abnormal genetic profile, for example, melanoma, these patients respond very well to immunotherapy. Unfortunately, immunotherapy has not worked well when applied to all patients with pancreatic cancer. But we have seen individual cases where patients whose molecular profile is similar to that of melanoma respond very well to this form of treatment. And so we're really targeting those specific patients for this type of therapy in this trial.
And what might the results of the trial mean for pancreatic cancer patients and treatments for the disease in future?
Well, it's sort of an example of personalised therapy. And if we can show that personalised therapy works in this population, then it's a validation of that approach in this condition. So by doing this molecular screening, we'll potentially also identify other targets that these patients might benefit from. So this is a proof of principle. It will hopefully significantly help a small group of patients with this particular profile, but will also allow us to identify other patients with other profiles who could have other treatment approaches.
And could this potentially be groundbreaking? How is this trial different from others that have been conducted around the world?
Well, there have been very few targeted treatment trials in pancreatic cancer. So this is one of the first trials to actually target the treatment to the particular profile of the cancer. That's been very successful in other tumours like breast cancer and lung cancer, but there have been very few examples where this has been successful in pancreatic cancer. So that's where this would be groundbreaking if it's successful.
Well, Dr. Daniel Croagh, we wish you all the best. Thank you for shedding light on that. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you very much for the opportunity.